Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to show you how to mantle jump. If you don't know what a mantle jump is, it's basically a zipline super jump, but you're able to do it out of the mantle state. After watching this video, you guys will be able to do all kinds of mantle jumps. You'll be able to mantle jump at streamer building. You'll be able to mantle jump off of horizontal ziplines such as this one. And you'll also learn something that I like to call directional mantle jumping, which basically allows you to mantle jump in any direction, which you can use to mantle jump completely backwards if you choose to do so. Let me ask you guys a question. How many places can you mantle jump here? The answer is 5. So let me show you this in third person. The first spot is right here. You can mantle jump off the bottom ledge. You can mantle jump off of this ledge. You can mantle jump off the third ledge. You can mantle jump off the fourth ledge. And of course, the very top, you can mantle jump off of that as well. Now, unfortunately, the firing range is reworked, so you can't practice here anymore. Alright guys, so here we are in the new firing range, and right here is actually the best place to practice mantle jumping, right next to this ship. So I'm going to show you guys how to practice mantle jumps here. What you're going to want to do is land in a mantle state right here, and then hold down your interact key. So that's my E key, I'm holding it down. Then all you're going to want to do is look up, press W for a split second, and then instantly switch to S, and scroll jump. It's going to look like this. So practice this from a standstill in this mantle state over and over again. Just look straight up, hold interact, then WS scroll jump. And that's the easiest way to learn the timing. And once you're consistent at that, you can try kind of dynamic mantle jumps where you're riding up the zip and going directly into the mantle jump. So one thing I like to do is actually hold down my interact key while riding up the zip line, and then it just sets me up perfectly to do the mantle jump without having to worry about that extra button press. This variant can be used in a lot of places, but my favorite is the spot at streamer building. You can mantle jump from the 3rd floor of streamer building all the way to the roof. So for this spot, you're going to want to hold W for a significantly longer time than you normally would. But other than that, it's pretty easy to do. And here's one more clip of me using this in a fight. The next thing you guys want to try is mantle jumping while looking in other directions. And I'm not meaning looking down. I'm meaning look to the left or to the right. So for instance, I can mantle jump off of this ledge right here, and then mantle jump to the left. And that's not a tap strafe. That's just a mantle jump looking to the left. The keyboard inputs are identical to a regular mantle jump. The only difference is your camera input. Instead of looking just up, you're going to look up and to the left. And this is very useful for traversing certain areas of the map. So for instance, right here, it's very hard to mantle jump off of this fence unless you do a perfect mantle jump looking down. So you can kind of get around this by mantle jumping off of this ledge instead and doing it sideways. So I'll show you what this looks like in third person. We're in the mantle state and we just go straight up. So practice mantle jumping to the left from a standstill like this. And once you got the hang of it, try riding up the zipline and going directly into it. So the easy course on my mantle jump map kind of forces you to learn these two mechanics. So checkpoints 3 and 4, you're going to have to turn about 60 degrees to the left and right in order to make the jump. And then for checkpoints 5 and 6, you're going to have to turn 90 degrees. So when you're in this mantle state, you can actually go in any direction you want. It doesn't have to be just 90 degrees to the right or left. You can actually turn completely backwards. So here's kind of what it looks like to do a backwards mantle jump. And like I said before, the inputs are identical to a regular mantle jump. The only thing that's changing is your camera input. So pretend that you're doing a regular mantle jump, but instead of looking forward, you're turning backwards. So here we go in third person. I'm going to do a mantle jump backwards. So right here is one place you can practice backwards mantle jumps. So if you do it correctly, you should land all the way back here. This is very different from a mantle jump looking forwards into a 180 tap strafe. If you try to do a regular mantle jump looking forward and then chain it into a tap strafe, you will struggle to even reach that platform. But if you simple mantle jump looking backwards, you go considerably farther, so that's the difference. So this is what checkpoint 7 forces you to do on my mantle jump map. the arrow points straight backwards here, you're going to be mantle jumping backwards. So if you don't do it perfectly, you will not make it to the zip line. But you can combine this backwards mantle jump into a tap strafe, so you can effectively go in 2 different directions. And I'll show this in third person. I'm going to do a backwards mantle jump into a forwards tap strafe. Now this is actually pretty useful in the actual game. There's a lot of places you can do it, but the most iconic spot is this place in Broken Moon. Another thing you guys should practice is mantle jumping from different positions. So the zip line's right here, but you can actually mantle jump from like over there. So let's try that. So this can make you more unpredictable. So what I think the main thing to note is that although the zip line is like right here, you do not have to mantle jump from here. So you can choose to even mantle jump off this leftmost part, or you can choose to mantle jump off the rightmost part of the zip right here where there's this tiny gap, and people won't expect you to come from there. And really quick, I'll show this with the movement recorder. I'm going to activate the movement recorder and try this rightmost spot. Alright, so I'm playing the movement right now. So I'm going to expect the enemy to probably appear right at the zipline where I'm looking, but instead they just do that. Alright guys, so for most of the time when you're playing Apex, I feel like you should be performing mantle jumps looking upwards because they're really easy to do. Also, another thing important to note is that looking upwards for your mantle jump actually goes a lot farther than mantle jumps where you look downwards. So here's me looking downwards for a mantle jump, and sometimes I don't even reach the platform. So grabbing the zipline from a higher point just gives you a lot more airtime. However, there is some areas around the map that force you to look downwards for your mantle jump. So to perform a mantle jump looking down, it's pretty much the same inputs. You're still going to hold your interact key just like I had you learn before, and just look downwards. And the problem that you might encounter when doing mantle jumps here is you hit your feet on the floor. And the reason you hit your feet on the floor below you is because you're not holding W long enough. So by simply holding W a lot longer, I'll be able to stop my feet from hitting the floor here. So watch. So in slow motion, you can kind of see the difference. In the failed attempt, I don't hold W long enough and hit my feet. Versus in this attempt, I hold W slightly longer until I'm over the ledge, and I'm able to perform the mantle jump. So it's a small difference, but here it is side by side, and hopefully that helps. So as I said, there's only a couple of places that force you to mantle jump by looking downwards, and one of the most popular ones is going to be streamer building right here. And let me just go for a mantle jump really quick. It's pretty much that simple. My major tip for this is, first of all, in order to do mantle jumps at streamer building, character height's important. So for instance, if I play someone like Gibraltar or Pathfinder, I will be way too tall to ever make this jump consistently. And watch, I'm just pretty much guaranteed to hit my head on the ceiling. And that's because the character height difference between Pathfinder and someone like Wraith is a lot different. And same thing with Gibby. Gibby is a lot taller than Wraith. Characters like Caustic even are tall. But basically for mantle jumping in buildings like this, you're going to want to avoid Caustic, Gibby, and Pathfinder, and Newcastle. Now the characters that excel here are going to be Wraith, and Lifeline, and Watson. They're going to be really easy to mantle jump here as long as you know how to mantle jump. One of the main tips is when you jump off the zip line, you want to be looking around this area on the shaft. If you're higher, then you're just going to hit your head on the ceiling usually. See how I just hit my head? So aiming just above the yellow line is going to make mantle jumping here really, really easy. The shortest characters in the game, once again, are Lifeline, Watson, and Wraith, so it's very easy to do it on them. Now, the characters that are average in height are going to be pretty much all the ones I didn't list before. So Mirage, Maggie, Rampart, etc. And I'm going to show you what it looks like to mantle jump on these characters. And as you can see, I'm still able to do it. But if I jump off way too late, so I jump off so that my character height is around this blue line, I'm going to fail the mantle jump pretty much every time. But you can sometimes get away with it. It's just mantling from a lower point definitely makes things easier. So ideally, the lower on the shaft you can grab the mantle, the better. So other than character height and jumping position, the only other thing you can kind of mess up when mantle jumping here is holding W for too short of a duration. So I'm going to do that intentionally. I'm going to try to switch instantly from W to S out of the mantle. And as you can see, I pretty much always am going to fail the jump. So if you find yourself failing your jump and it's looking like this, chances are you just need to hold W longer and just get used to holding W for that amount of time. One of the other problems you can run into when attempting mantle jumping is not looking down enough. So here's me barely looking down. It still worked, but I also like clipped the ceiling slightly, which you kind of might have noticed. But it's gonna be pretty hard for you to flick down too little. As long as you flick down more than like 30 degrees, chances are you're fine. Alright guys, so the last mantle jump type I want to cover is horizontal mantle jumps. So if you didn't know, you can mantle jump off of these horizontal poles. The timing is kind of the same as if you jumped off and did a super glide off of the edge, but instead of super gliding, you're going to jump off and perform a mantle jump. As for doing the mantle jump itself, it's pretty much the same as any other mantle jump in this video. You're going to hold interact, look down, and super jump, and that's pretty much it. You can kind of experiment with the timing yourselves. If you're able to do all the other mantle jumps in the video, this should actually be pretty easy. Also, if you're looking to practice your horizontal mantle jumps in a better way than in-game, you can always try the mantle jump map because we have dedicated sections for this. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like the video! Rah!